In today's video, we're going to be covering the first two generations of the Honda Civic. The first generation of the Honda Civic was released in 1972, with production ending in 1979. The first generation came in anywhere between a 1.1 liter and a 1.5 liter four-cylinder motor with single overhead cams. The motors produced anywhere between 50 and 70 horsepower. The car came in both a 4-speed manual and a 5-speed manual, as well as a 2-speed Honda-matic automatic. The difference between a Honda-matic and a normal automatic transmission is that the Honda-matic has gears on a parallel axis and a normal automatic has planetary gears. This first generation was mostly a new platform, and it was a successor to the Honda N600, just a bit bigger. There were 5 different forms of the Civic: a 2-door fastback, a 3-door hatchback, a 4-door fastback sedan, a 5-door hatchback, and a 5-door station wagon. The Civic weighed only 1,500 pounds and had front and rear independent suspension, as well as front disc brakes, which is really quite impressive. The vehicle got a good 40 miles per gallon, which certainly helped it cement itself in the American market. In 1974, the Civic grew a little bit to meet the 5-mile-per-hour bumper requirement in the U.S. A minor facelift in 1978 brought different lights, a black grille, and some slightly different vents. Sadly, the Civic suffered rust problems where salt was used in the winter. Honda importers had to offer cash reimbursement or new replacement parts for cars that had rusted within 3 years of ownership because of this issue. Now to my favorite part of the car, the Sport model. The Sport model on the original Civic was called the 1200 RS SB1 and produced around 75 brake horsepower. It could apparently go a reported 99 miles an hour, powered by a 1.2-liter straight 4 that was naturally aspirated. Now we go on to the second generation of the Honda Civic, the last generation I will be covering in this video. The second generation started production in 1979, right after production of the first Civic ended. This Civic ended production in 1983. This generation of Civic came in a range of 1.3-liter motors to 1.5-liter motors, all single overhead cam. These engines produced slightly more than the last generation, ranging between 60 and 80 horsepower. This generation of the Civic had all of the last generation's transmissions, plus a 3-speed normal automatic. The Civic once again included all of the last generation's body styles. If you're not able to see it already, this generation is basically the last generation with some minor differences. Overall, a little more comfort and a little more sophistication, but not really much else. There was a new sport model in 1983 called the Civic S. It is pretty similar to the 1200 RS of the 70s. This S model featured a stiffer suspension, different wheels, a red and black color scheme, as well as a red S badge in the back of the car. This covers the basics of the first two generations of the Civic. I hope you enjoyed watching the video and had fun delving into the first and second generation of the Honda Civic.